Senior living operators face a complex set of challenges. How do you stay ahead of the pack? Listen in to From Leads to Leases, a CCR Growth podcast for expert solutions that transform problems into opportunities. And maybe someday soon you'll partner with us to generate $1.5 million and up in additional revenue per community in just 12 months. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of From Leads to Leases, where we cut through the industry noise to bring you actionable insights in senior living marketing and sales. I'm Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, here to decode another game changer for our industry, customer lifetime value, or CLV for short, and its transformative power in the senior living sector. This isn't just about numbers, it's about understanding the heart and soul behind those numbers, the lives, stories, and value every resident brings to your community. So let's kick things off by understanding what CLV really means in our world. So imagine CLV as the total impact, both financial and communal, a resident has throughout their stay in your community. It's not just about their initial move-in fee, it's about the ongoing relationship, the referrals, the overall engagement that this relationship contributes to your community's flourishing landscape. And relationship is the key word here. CLV is based around the theory that creating a lasting relationship with each customer and even each potential customer through strategic communication and trust building yields dividends over time, way more so than if we simply saw each as a once-off transaction. Instead, we should see that initial transaction as an opportunity to create connections that yield the most powerful marketing results of all. Word of mouth. We all know that when your brand is being recommended to others by your own customers, you've done your job well. Here's how you work those numbers out. First, you calculate how much your customer spends with you on average, their average purchase value, then how often they make their purchase, their average number of referrals and engagement with your brand, and then you multiply these together to get their value to you. Then think about how long your relationship might last, which is the average customer lifespan. Multiply this by their value to you and voila, you've got their customer lifetime value, like knowing how much joy this relationship brings to you over time. You also have to consider that customer lifetime value can vary dramatically depending on the type of senior living community we're spotlighting. So let's take a deep dive into the nuances of CLV across a diverse landscape of senior living options. Every senior living community is like a unique ecosystem, each with its own vibe, offerings, and audience. CLV in these communities can be influenced by factors like service level, resident engagement, and pricing strategies. Let's look at the differences between independent living, assisted living, memory care, and CCRCs just to make the picture a bit clearer. So first, independent living communities. So here, residents are pretty much living their best life independently, but with access to amenities that make life richer and simpler at the same time. The CLV for independent living can be pretty reliable thanks to lower turnover rates and the allure of a hassle-free lifestyle that attracts seniors looking for freedom and community. The trick for providers is to amp up the value through lifestyle perks and community engagement. And if they can do that, the choice to stay is an easy one. It's not uncommon for IL residents to stay for longer periods, sometimes up to 10 years or more, since there's a low level of care required. However, since the required level of care is so low, the cost per month is usually less. So on average, the CLV for an independent living resident is anywhere from $180K to $480K, depending on the lifestyle options and amenities at their disposal. So let's shift gears and you find yourself in assisted living, where residents need a helping hand with daily tasks. The CLV story here gets interesting because you're offering not just a place to live, but a promise of care and support. Personalized care plans, a strong sense of community, and top-notch services can drive CLV up as families and residents value the peace of mind and quality of life these communities provide. However, these communities are also seen as a transitional space between independent living and a much higher level of care or more frequent level of care required. So residents typically only remain in assisted living for 24 to 36 months. And even though the fees are typically higher, the shorter length of stay means more turnover, putting customer lifetime value numbers somewhere between 84,000 to 252,000 on average. So if you do the math, that's far higher value per year of stay, but that will also cost you more in caregiver cost per resident and in market, since you'll have a more difficult time maintaining higher occupancy rate, and you're going to have to put more effort into your sales process. So next we have memory care, and here we truly enter the realm of specialized care where every interaction, every service is tailored to enrich the lives of residents with memory issues. The CLV potential here is huge, but it's also about the quality of care, the depth of engagement, and creating moments of joy for residents. Families will invest in communities that show genuine commitment to their loved ones, well-being, driving CLV through the roof when done right. If you're operating in the memory care space, making sure your community has a glowing reputation can also significantly impact the success of attracting and maintaining occupancy for your communities. Because of the difficult nature of treating memory care residents, it's not uncommon for family members to become highly emotional about their loved one's care and abruptly leave negative feedback that may not be warranted. Even the caretaking staff can have difficulty struggling with the stress of their daily responsibilities, and they can target the community's reputation through reviews or even become targets of negative feedback themselves. So you've got to pay special attention to resident care and what services you offer to help caregivers manage with stress and how you communicate with the resident's family members. Similar to assisted living, memory care is more expensive per month, but again, requires sophisticated levels of care depending on the services needed. And this puts their average CLV between 85K to 242K per resident, which is slightly higher than assisted living, but care costs could be much higher, driving the actual profitability of each facility down. Resident turnover is also about 2 to 3 years on average. Adding to the profitability challenge, at the end of the day, many memory care facilities, they choose to prioritize resident care first, which makes total sense. But because of this, lifestyle and amenity options suffer along with the residents' quality of life outside of their care needs being met. And again, this is often why you'll see many mid-tier memory care facilities have low to average ratings rather than a 4 or 5-star exemplary review rate. So lastly, we have continuing care retirement communities, or CCRCs. So these juggernauts offer the full spectrum from independent living to skilled nursing all in one place. The CLV variation here is a roller coaster ride driven by the ability to provide a lifelong home for residents. The magic formula includes flexible living options, a seamless transition between levels of care, and a vibrant community life, ensuring that residents and their families see the value in a long-term commitment. On average, most residents remain a part of a CCRC for 14 years or longer. That's huge. And a big part of that might be because of the costs. So first, there's the entry fee, which can vary between $100,000 to $1 million on average just to get in the door, plus the monthly fee that ranges between $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So this puts the average customer lifetime value in a CCRC upwards of $500K, making their ability to generate mountains of revenue much easier. However, because of the high entry fee, it's a huge commitment on the part of a resident to commit to moving into a community. Often they're selling their home and other assets to pay the entry fee and have come to a more permanent choice to adopt a communal living lifestyle. It can take 2 to 3 times longer for marketing and sales to close a prospective CCRC resident than other types of living options, which means that while the CLV might be way up, the cost per move-in and the cost per lead might be much higher as well. So now that we've looked at 4 very different living options, keep in mind that CLV isn't a one-size-fits-all game. It's about dialing into what makes each type of community tick, what lights up the lives of residents, and crafting experiences that not only meet but exceed expectations. CLV is always about playing the long game, focusing on building relationships that last and making every decision with the resident's lifetime value in mind, not just your profitability. So we talked about what customer lifetime value is and how it differs within a variety of living options or types of communities. But now we need to answer the question, why should CLV be your guiding light? Because If I want to believe what most of you have on your website and brochures, you're not just running communities, you're nurturing spaces where seniors live and thrive, right? At its core, CLV is about relationships, value, and longevity. It's not about the numbers. It's about what those numbers represent. Imagine CLV as a story of connection, care, and community that unfolds over time. It's the sum total of all the interactions, experiences, and care that a resident receives from the moment they walk through your doors. But here's the kicker. Each of these moments is an opportunity to enrich lives, to make every day count, and to ensure that every senior feels valued, seen, and a part of a vibrant community. Focusing on customer lifetime value pushes senior living providers to look beyond the initial move-in. It's about fostering an environment where seniors don't just live, they flourish. This focus means providers are invested in continuous improvement, in listening to and acting on resident feedback, and in creating an engaging, fulfilling community life. But why does CLV become the guiding light? Because when providers prioritize CLV, they're committing to delivering excellence at every turn. They're saying, we're here to make a positive impact on your life for the long haul. They understand that every happy resident, every positive review, and every referral is a testament to the community's value, and the value resonates far beyond its borders. But here's where it gets real. By honing in on CLV, you're not just optimizing for profit, you're optimizing for purpose. And that's something I love. Being intentional in everything you do as a brand truly sets you apart from competitors, because you can probably bet they're not committing to excellence in the same ways you are. You're creating a community where every interaction adds to a resident's quality of life, where the focus is on long-term satisfaction and loyalty. This approach ensures that resources are smartly allocated to where they can make the most significant impact on programs that spark joy, amenities that enhance living, and care that respects dignity and fosters independence. In essence, CLV shines a light on the importance of nurturing lasting relationships. It reminds providers that their role isn't transactional, it's transformational. It challenges the industry to elevate the standard of living, to invest in the holistic well-being of residents, and to build communities that are not just places to live, but places to thrive. So as we navigate the journey of senior living, let CLV be our North Star, guiding us to create communities that are as invested in the happiness and well-being of their residents as they are in the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, the true value of a community is measured not in years stayed, but in lives enriched. And that, my friends, is the promise of CLV and senior living. So how do you strategize for higher CLV and elevate the prospect's experience? I think that's a great question. So let's think about this. It isn't just about increasing occupancy. That can be a fleeting metric and not a true measurement of resident satisfaction. Your focus should be about deepening the grooves of relationship and value. You want to turn every resident stay into a saga of satisfaction and engagement. How? By wrapping your arms around data and insights like they're your long-lost pals. Dive deep into understanding what drives satisfaction for your residents, what they cherish, what activities and amenities are pure gold, and where can you add even more value. And the more data you collect along the way, the more you can personalize their experience so it hits the mark so accurately residents feel like you've read their minds. Every service should confidently say, we know you and we value you. Now, how do we use this strategy to elevate the prospect experience? Because it's not just about your existing residents. CLV starts from the moment a prospect comes knocking at your door. Imagine if every interaction with your community felt less like a sales pitch and more like a warm, inviting conversation over a cup of coffee. That's where you want to be. From the very first touch point, whether it's a call, a website visit, or social media interaction, make it count. Make it memorable. Make it so damn personal and engaging that the prospect can't help but think, this is it. This is home. You should also think about technology not as a crutch, but as a magic wand to enchant, to woo, to engage. Use CRM systems to tailor your follow-ups, to remember preferences, and to surprise and delight at every turn. But here's the clincher. Don't let technology replace the human touch. Instead, let it enhance it, allowing your team to spend more time doing what they do best, which is building relationships, and leave the follow-ups and other less human touch points to the automation and AI-driven systems you've built or could build. Lastly, don't forget about the importance of feedback loops. Yeah, you heard that right. And you're probably sick of hearing it because I talk about them all the time, but take the time to implement a robust system of gathering feedback at every stage of the prospect journey. Use this gold mine of insights to refine, to tweak, and to perfect the experience. Nobody gets it right the first time out of the gate, or the second time, or the third time. Show your prospects that their voice doesn't just echo into the void, it shapes the very fabric of your community. In essence, strategizing for higher CLV and elevating the prospect experience is about painting a masterpiece of care, engagement, and personalized touch. It's about crafting a journey so compelling, so enriching, that choosing your community becomes the only logical outcome and foreshadows what their resident experience will also be like. So the journey from prospect to a celebrated resident isn't a straight line. It's a carefully nurtured path where each touch point is an opportunity to reinforce trust, build rapport, and ultimately confirm the prospect's decision. It's about understanding that the value of a resident isn't captured at the sale, it's cultivated at every stage of their journey within your brand. The last question you might be asking, is there data to back up the impact of focusing on CLV? Well, absolutely. There's a mountain of research backing up the fact that this is where the value lies from well-respected institutions like NIC and Argentum. Higher resident satisfaction doesn't just make for a happier community, it translates directly into solid gold metrics. Higher occupancy, longer stays, and a referral pipeline that's bursting at the seams. Remember, folks, in the world of senior living, success isn't just about filling rooms, it's about filling lives with joy, connection, and a sense of belonging. That's the real treasure at the end of the CLV rainbow. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay ahead of the game, because in the quest for excellence, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit, it's passion, and it's the promise we make to every resident who calls your community home. Thanks for tuning in to From Leads to Leases. If you're ready to dive deeper into CLV and unlock the future potential of your community, let's connect. Stay tuned for more episodes, and please subscribe to our podcast. I'm Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth, here to guide you through the maze of senior living, marketing, sales, and operations. Until next time, keep leading with strategy and with heart and with an eye on the future. Chat with you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Explore more at CCRGrowth.com. At CCR Growth, we've developed the Senior Growth Innovation Suite to unlock an additional $1.5 million and up in revenue per senior living community within a year. We specialize in generating quality leads, expediting sales, and reducing acquisition costs. Let's connect soon.